Good morning, Internet. How are you? This is a quickie because I actually got an email from someone who wanted to ask a question. And the question is, the narcissist / NPD in my life has come back and they're apologizing. Should I take them back or not? Okay, so this is just my opinion. I'm not a counselor, nor am I a therapist. But I will say this, is that I do believe in the power of psychology. And I want to read to you something from Psych Central, which I do enforce in my life now, right? And it's from Dr. John M. Grohl, How to Make an Adept Sincere Apology. You can Google it. I invite you to read the most of it. I'll be skimming through it, but I'll tell you how you can know if this person is sincere with you or not, right? Typically, narcissistic people do come back. I know they say the final discard. It's really iffy about this final discard thing because it depends on how deep you were with them, how bonded you were, and how long it was, right? And also, you can never really know what these people are thinking about anyway. So you just don't know if they need you or whatever. Like, unless you really put the screws on the pooch, they're not going to stay away from good for good. Sorry about that. I'm drinking coffee. But I want to give you at least these tools that I use, right? Because you can get your revenge, which I completely do recommend if you want your jollies and some petty human satisfaction. But if you want to make sure that your radar is on point and that this person is going to be sincere or not when they come back to you, please follow these steps. Number 1, apologies that are accepted are most often sincere, right? So what makes a sincere apology, right? In my opinion, which I do agree with Dr. Grohl's, is that the person who has wronged you acknowledges the wrong. I mean, blatantly tells the person that they have wronged what they've done in detail. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't get along with my cousins, right? I was actually very mean to them. I admit that. Because since I was the eldest, I was unfortunately in a family dynamic between the black sheep and the golden child, and you can guess which one I was. So time and distance kind of, made their ways in our lives, and I had to go back home one day. And I actually confronted my cousins, and I honestly, to their face, told them, even though we were children, I had no right to treat you the way that I treated you. You didn't deserve it. We were in some very toxic family dynamics, and I bought into it, and I'm sorry. If you would have saw the look on their faces, like they didn't expect that coming out of my mouth. And I mean, I actually detailed, like, remember this time when I did this to you and this to you? I was wrong. A sincere apology has lots and lots of details, and it has lots and lots of FaceTime and eye contact. And I wanted to make sure that when I dealt with these relatives, that if they were going to forgive me or not, that I was very straight up and to the point. And I was also very sincere. So you acknowledge what you did wrong. You accept responsibility for your actions. You basically show that you've changed, and you make sure it doesn't happen again. Now, me just going up to these relatives and saying what I've said showed that I changed. Like, I wasn't trying to dodge the bullet, right? I was actually trying to be very, very upfront, very, very honest, and actually show through my actions that I've changed, and we would not have this kind of conflict ever again. Number 2, the worse the transgression, the more important the sincere apology. I remember I saw this article, I think it was like a Facebook article, how this woman caught her husband cheating, right? And she was just, in a week, she was like going to divorce court. And do you know what the husband did? The husband tattooed his transgressions on his arm, went to his wife and said, "Give me a year. I will go through all of the therapy you tell me to. I mean, I will get help myself, and then we can have couples counseling. I will still do my job as a husband, but I cannot afford to lose you because I made a stupid mistake." And he said in the article that the tattoo, every time he felt like he wanted to give up, he looked at the tattoo and remembered how he cheated and why he did it. And he admitted why he did it. It was just more of his selfishness and the stress. And, but that wasn't his wife's fault. That was his fault. So he made sure he kept that tattoo on himself for a year to remind him that his marriage and his family was more important than his transgressions. And after she forgave him after a year, because she did, because as she said, he treated his therapy and his emotional work like it was a second job, he got the tattoo off, and they've been happy ever since. Number 3, avoid non-apology wording. You know when someone tells you, well, I think, you took it harder than what it was, or, maybes, or, basically when they try to switch the fault on you by saying basically sorry, not sorry. A real apology doesn't have any of that. A real apology is someone saying, I messed up beyond recognition and I was wrong. Not the, well, you thought more than what it was. Like that's that malignant narcissist word salad, right? Where they try to basically make you own up to something or at least take half of the blame. I'll never forget that my former spouse, when I asked him to go to therapy for his issues, that he wanted to put half of the blame on me as if, we came to this point because I pushed him to this whatever, right? That wasn't a sincere apology or a sincere effort. But if someone is serious that they really want to bond with you, that they really want to mend the bridge that they burned with you, they won't say sorry, not sorry. They won't flip it on you or try to have you take some of the responsibility too, right? Number 4, give them some space before making an apology. Time does heal most wounds, but it does fertilize dead soil, right? This person needs to calm down. Specifically you need to go ahead and think, and the person who's done the transgression needs to go ahead and do some self-searching, right? You cannot have a sincere apology and a sincere step forward if you don't have time and space, right? 5, be specific, but don't over-apologize. Like, don't suck up, ever. If a person really wants to make amends, they're going to have their dignity. They're going to apologize and be humble and be vulnerable, but they won't suck up. Sucking up is just as bad as word salad. Sucking up means that they're playing on your ego to basically have you forgive them. That's not how a real apology is. A real apology is human. It's human and it's vulnerable and it's beautiful. Now, I'm talking about this today because I think a lot of people do not understand what a real apology is like. And we take people back when they don't mean it. We take people back because we won't stand our ground and reinforce our boundaries. We think that the discomfort of being alone and healing is going to be eternal, which isn't true. A sincere apology is another way to get rid of a narcissist, believe it or not. Because a sincere apology means being humble, being vulnerable, and actually stepping on your ego. You know how you see Japanese people, in movies and shows, whatever, and they bow? A lot of that, I was told by my friend who's from Japan, is just motion, right? Like they have a real serious bow that if you fuck up so bad that, not many people see it, but it's sincere, right? A person who really wants to make amends will actually go deep into that proverbial bow. They'll dig deep into their soul and they'll say, hey, I was wrong and I've wronged you. And I feel that our relationship is more important than my pride. And I'm willing to go ahead and give that pride to you in hope that you'll forgive me. Now, you may not forgive them, right? You have that right, depending on the travesty. But I find that if you can't go no contact and you can't go gray rock and you can't do all these other whatevers, that you can demand a sincere apology. And you can definitely see on the person's face if they're going to give it to you or not. And if they don't, then you know what your answer is. Okay, Internet. I hope you have a good morning. See you later.